Hello everyone! Today we are building the Garden Club, a garden center in my Build a City Challenge hood of New Oceanside. This lot is owned by the founder of the Garden Club, Rocky Katsamiti, and will serve as headquarters for the club and its members. Rocky currently works as a landscape architect for the hood, do not call him a gardener, and along with the Garden Club he owns various other businesses which I will get into later. In an unmodded game, the Garden Club is the NPCs that show up to the Sims house and evaluate their gardens for membership into their exclusive club. The perks Sims get from being members of the Garden Club are discounts on seeds and fertilizer, and you could earn the wishing well from them if your landscape is worthy of it. In my hood, the Garden Club is a bit more extreme. If the Sims yard is untidy, they can be fined by the Garden Club. It's similar to the HOAs or the Homeowners Association, where if you don't follow the rules for maintaining your property, you will be fined. If you fail to pay fines or taxes consistently, you will go to prison and still have to pay those fines. They were so strict in my hood that the Sims jokingly called them the Garden Club Mafia. Little did they know that the Garden Club members recruited by Rocky are actually a mafia. But we'll get into that later. Since the Garden Club is supposed to be an exclusive club that only the high society are allowed in, I decided the building for the garden center needed to be high class as well. Instead of my original idea of making a barn-like structure and having all the gardening items on the outside, I built more of a fancier space where the Garden Club members can walk around and drink tea and buy their seeds and hang out in luxury. I got a lot of inspiration for this build from the wonderful Shasta Kiss. She made a lot using Crisps and Kerosene's conversions of the Sims 3 greenhouse items, and she made a really pretty arboretum out of it. I'll put links down below where you can find that CC as well. With that inspiration and an image I found on Pinterest that I'll put up here, I decided the Garden Club should be all glass like a conservatory. I used the really pretty windows from Life and Death converted by Platinum Aspiration again. They are honestly my favorite windows ever. And then I used trim from the Castle Estate kit converted by Lord Crumps. Every building in this hood will probably use the Castle Estate kit in some way. I'm just warning you now. It's such a great kit. This build ends up looking more like French Victorian architecture than English country, but I think it works. I think my hood will end up looking more fantasy/European country than straight up English country anyway. And I'm okay with that. I really just want a more old-timey European feel, more like a storybook cottagecore feel than anything else. The main purpose of the Garden Club is for Sims to buy seeds. I have the Planting Overhaul mod by Lemaire, which makes it so you have to buy seeds from a retail lot in order to plant certain fruits and vegetables. So this is why I built this lot ahead of building the Good Acres farm, because I usually like to build the Sims home and then build all the lots that are associated with them and their own businesses. Becca originally owned the church in my old hood, and then I decided that I needed to have the sisters own it and add the orphans to their home. So I built the church and the sisters' home first, but Becca and Owen, who are the Good Acres, they were always the family that I was going to start building their house first. So when I went to go playtest the orphanage, because I have the mod that requires the Sims to buy groceries from the refrigerators, I had to build the grocery store. And now I have to build the Garden Club just so Owen can have the seeds to plant his garden. It's like a vicious cycle. I know this lot is a little fancy for just buying seeds and trees, but apparently I can't make anything simple. This build is also my first build with Sims 2 on the Linux operating system, and I'm super excited about it. I have heard for quite some time that people playing The Sims 2 on Linux weren't having the pink flashing and crashing issues that some Windows players were. And with every Windows update, I felt like my game was not running as smoothly as before. So I thought I would try it out since I needed to buy a larger hard drive anyway. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay because I still have a new larger SSD drive. I work in graphic design and I have a lot of files on several different external hard drives, and I was still running out of room, so another hard drive was much appreciated. I read up a lot about Linux, and I followed T-Addict's video on how to install Linux and The Sims 2 on Linux. And so far it's been running really well. It was fairly simple to do, just a lot of steps. To be honest, I was more nervous about installing the actual hard drive into my computer than anything else, because I'm more of a software girly than I am a hardware girly. But even just installing it into my computer, that was pretty easy to do. Everything is running really smoothly, no pink flashing yet. I had a little crashing, but it was more of a CC issue than a performance issue. I did some stress testing in other hoods. I played the Cordial Twins in Belladonna Cove for a sim week, and then had them go to work and go to community lots and throw a huge party with over 30 sims on the lot at a time. And everything seemed fine. I mean, except for the struggle of having 30 sims on a lot. There was no pink soup and no crashes. I'm really, really happy so far. I'm even looking into installing G-Shade now. I never did it before because I didn't want to stress out the computer even more than it already was. I tried Reshade previously and it really wasn't for me, but G-Shade looks more like the look that I want for my game. So I'll let you guys know if it works or not, or if I like it or not. I'm still using the Ultimate Collection or the Starter Pack version of Sims 2 and not the new Legacy Collection. I hear there are a lot of problems with the Legacy Collection, new problems in fact, so I'm just going to stick with the one I've had for years. One of the things I like with Linux is that I can see my Windows folders and easily pull files from there to the Linux side. Unfortunately, you can't do that on the Windows side. You can't see the Linux side at all on Windows. So what I'm doing is just moving files to an external drive so I can use them on the Windows side. I use Photoshop for editing photos and Premiere Pro for editing the videos. And those programs are only on Windows. So after I record my speed builds and take screenshots on Linux, I move them to the external drive and then do all of the post-production on Windows. If you're thinking about making the change to Linux, I would definitely recommend it. Just follow T-Addict here on YouTube and Brandy Not Broke on Tumblr, and they have all the information you need on running The Sims 2 on Linux. There were some programs that I couldn't get to work on Linux. Sim Tracker, which I use as a quick reference for my Sims. It's a little database program that you can get from Mod The Sims. I couldn't get that to open correctly on Linux. Life Stories and Pet Stories wouldn't install for some reason, but I got Castaway Stories to install and it plays fine. There was another Sims Helper program that I used that I couldn't get working, but I forget what it was. But everything else works. SimPE, Hood Replacer, Lot Adjuster, Sim Categorizer, all that stuff, they all work on Linux. I haven't tried yet to install SimCity 4 or The Sims 1 yet. That's the next thing I have to check. But yeah, I like Linux. And it's always fun to learn something new, computer-wise anyway. I forgot to make a space for the bathroom when I was first building, as per usual. I almost just plopped down one of those pea bushes because I didn't want to undo everything I did. But I did, and I just went ahead and added a bathroom. Rocky Katsamiti, who is the owner of this lot, like I said before, is the bad guy of the neighborhood. He pretends that he's just a simple landscape architect who just wants to beautify the hood and keep it looking nice, but really he has nefarious motives. Rocky was spawned as the first member of the garden club in-game. Really, he was using the excuse of a garden club, air quotes, as a way of feeling out the new residents to see if any of them would be interested in his herbal remedies, more air quotes. The garden club has two sides, the legit social club that likes to talk about plants, and the illegal side, which I affectionately call the garden club mafia. So the garden club is just a front for Rocky's bubbles business. In my game, blowing bubbles at the bubble blower is like doing drugs and it's illegal. Rocky is the only distributor of bubbles in the hood. He used to have a partner that helped him make bubbles, but now they're on the outs and they are sworn enemies. His name is Kent Healy, And Kent is the local potter. He makes pottery things. Rocky wants to get rid of him for good, and he just might. Rocky tries to play the role of being a normal, law-abiding citizen. He desperately wants to be part of the new Oceanside elite, so much so that he has become really good friends with Vivian Landgrab, who's also a garden club member. The legit side of the garden club, that is. He's a fortune sim and only wants to make money and have a good reputation. He married the town burglar, Rowena de Homel, and they have a new baby, but it's really just for show because all of the high society sims are married with children, so he felt he needed to as well to fit in. As to Rocky's other businesses, since he is the main dealer of bubbles, he will also own a bubble den. This will be a lot where the sims can hang out and blow bubbles. It's going to be located in the criminal district of the downtown hood that I'm making for New Oceanside. Rocky also has a farm where he grows the ingredients for bubbles. The grow farm has the current members of the garden club living there, and their job is to only grow his crops and turn them into bubbles. Oh, and to evade the police. I haven't decided what plants I want to use as the bubbles plant yet. I have the poppy fields mod, and I might use that, but I'm not too sure if that's the way I want to go. There are other criminal businesses that Rocky is behind, but I'll go into those later in other videos that pertain to Rocky and Rowena. So Rocky pretty much has a hand in all things criminal related in New Oceanside. Malcolm Landgrab is the mayor, and he thinks he's in charge, but really Rocky is behind the scenes controlling everything. So I moved the lot from being next door to Good Acres grocery store to its own area on another street. Since this build turned out to be fancier than my original thought of just a barn-like garden center, I thought it should be in a different area than the grocery store. I was thinking that I can also add the florist shop that will be run by another sim next to the garden club. Maybe add a park to the other side of the garden club. I want to build a outdoor venue for weddings, like a romantic park area, so I'm thinking I might put that here next to the garden club. This section is the outdoor nursery where I'm putting the trees from Sun and Moon's Giving Tree mod. These little trees can be planted and will grow into full-size trees, and the Sims can cut them for wood, for fireplaces, or to craft other things. I also add some already cut logs for the Sims to purchase and garden items like compost, birdhouses, and ladybug houses. I had one weird glitch while I was decorating. I had a table, the same table I used in the farmer's market section of the grocery store I did last video, and I put a bunch of pots on it to sell. And then when I went into live mode, the Sims couldn't get into the garden club. They couldn't walk around, and they had the table in their thought bubble. And I went to pick up the table, and its footprint from when I originally put it down was like a 1x2, turned into like 20x20 spaces that it took over. So I deleted the table, bought a new one, bought new pots, and stuck them on there, and the same thing happened. And I had no problems with this table at the farmer's market, so I don't know what happened. I thought it must be the pots, but then I tried a totally different table, put the pots on them, and everything was fine. It worked perfectly. So I have no clue what was wrong there, but I ended up putting the pots someplace else anywhere. I got rid of the whole pots on the table idea, so I just put the pots someplace else. It was just really, really weird. You'll see me going back and forth from room to room, inside and outside. I don't usually like to do that when I'm building. I would rather stay in one area and finish it and then move on to the next. But I was getting frustrated with how one section was looking, so I had to walk away from it for a little while and move on to another section. So hopefully the camera moving around doesn't bother you guys so much. I was watching another simmer doing a speed build. Now I forgot who it was, but she mentioned how she builds with the walls up all the time. And I never really thought about mentioning that because that's the only way I like to build and the only way I like to play. I like to see all of the decoration while I'm playing, And of course, while I'm building, I think it would be really hard to decorate with the walls down, but having the walls up while you're playing also helps set the scene and keeps you focused in this one area that your sim is in. I guess it feels more realistic to me. One of the questions I got about Good Acres grocery store is, do the Sims have to pay for their business lots or something to that effect? And I realized that I probably haven't really talked about my rules for the Build a City Challenge. So I have my own set of rules, which are taken from various other BACC rules, specifically Nefaris and Redmond Flats. So you could check them out if you like. It's long, but it's pretty informative. And I mean, a lot of times I break my own rules, but I think you should play the way you want to play. And if there are some rules that will hinder your fun of the game, then don't do it. Do what you like. But specifically for the Sims buying commercial lots, I usually say that the government will buy the lot for them, or they will need to take out a loan. I don't use loan jars or anything like that, the mods for loan jars. I just keep track of how much they owe manually on a spreadsheet. Government-aided lots would be like the church. The sisters didn't have to pay out of their own money to purchase that lot, but for Good Acres grocery store, the Good Acres did have to pay for the new lot. In the very beginning of the BACC, the Good Acres were loaned the money for the lot because the town needed a grocery store. So this time around, they had more than enough money, so they bought the lot themselves. This lot was purchased by Rocky Katsamiti, and he had enough simoleons. This lot cost about 100,000 simoleons. When I go to build the new homes for the Sims, I'll probably give them the money for them. Like I'll just keep mother loading while I'm building them. Because I'm the one that took away their homes and their businesses so I could swap out the terrain and rebuild their homes in different styles. In game, I'm going to say that these houses were already in existence when the Sims arrived in New Oceanside, and the residents are just tweaking the houses to their liking. I added a little seating area where the garden club members can have tea. I'm calling this the tea room. One of the members, Vivian Landgrab again, she loves tea. In my headcanon, she requested an area for the members to relax and drink tea and gossip about the other Sims. I plan on having the garden club hold meetings at this lot once per season. Whenever I make a group for hobbies or like the secret society or something like that, I'll make sure that whoever is the leader of that group makes the time to have an outing with the other members. And that's about it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more detailed photos of the build, please check my website or my Tumblr linked down below. See you in the next one. Later.